Okay, can you start out with spelling your name first and last?
Nathan.
Okay, and then what are you at right now? School, college, job-wise?
I'm definitely done with college. I've been done with college for like 3.5 years. No, 4 years I've been done with college. And I'm self-employed all across the board.
Okay, and then what did you study?
I went for graphic design, branding, and marketing. And Shay, come the fuck on, man. I went for graphic design, branding, marketing, photography, and videography.
I'm really happy I get to edit this. I take so long to write. It is so annoying. Okay, what high school did you go to?
I went to a lot of different high schools, but the high school that I finished and graduated at was in Auburndale, Florida. I did junior and senior year there.
Okay, and then what made you decide to go down there? Why were you in Florida?
I moved to Florida, so I'm from Kenosha, but I moved to Florida when I was 5 years old. And because my dad had a job down there, my stepdad, he had got a job down there with his dad. And we lived in a bunch of different places in Florida. Ended up moving to Tennessee when I was 12. Got expelled from high school in Tennessee, so I moved back to Florida.
Okay.
And then finished high school and college there.
Okay, and then what was your high school experience? Like, did you have any?
It was fucking sorry. It was really cool. It was really fun. I was always getting in trouble when I was younger, but I always had really good grades. And I don't know, I was really social. Like, I was just constantly interested in the people. So, like, work was really easy for me to understand. How to do schoolwork was really easy for me to understand. I would finish it pretty quickly. And then after that, I was mostly just interested in people, like talking to as many people as I can, asking people as many questions as I could. So I was always not in my classes. Like, somehow I always had my work done, but I always seemed to be not in my classes. I always seemed to be like walking around talking to people, and yeah, I don't know. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, do you have how would you describe your relationship with your parents?
Pretty weird. I guess currently, it's really interesting that you asked me that question now, because currently I'm just a bit disappointed in my parents, I guess. I have like a weird, I understand that my parents had done the best that they could with the knowledge that they had in that moment, and my mother actually really did go like super above and beyond to provide for me and make sure that I was constantly supported growing up.
Right.
But my dad was not in my life until I was about like 14 or 15. My real dad, he was really like not around at all. And I always lived with my mom, but the thing is, like, I didn't really connect with, like, they didn't really understand what I was trying to do with my life. I was like a super black sheep. So they wanted me to go into the Coast Guard, or they wanted me to go to law school. And I obviously, looking at me, I did not want to do either of those things. It was super apparent. So when I told my mom, I was originally going to go to college for music, and when I told my mom that, it completely changed the dynamic in our relationship, and she was like, okay, well, you should try to be practical about this, and then from there, she encouraged me to either go to school for journalism or for design, and I ended up going for design, and so that kind of started a bit of like understanding between the two of us, but it's always just kind of been this weird dynamic between me and my parents where they really didn't understand what I was doing, and they didn't really forwardly support it. It was one of those things where I kind of had to show and prove. And so, like, now, it's getting to a better place, like, I guess we communicate more about, like, ourselves to each other.
Right.
But, I don't know how to explain it. I'm sorry that I'm giving you such a
No,
weird,
that's okay.
sorry that I'm giving you such a
me a
weird
lot to
answer,
work
but
with.
it's just, like, it's difficult for me to even process, like I said, so, and I grew up with my stepdad. I didn't grow up with my real dad, and that was a hardcore abusive situation. Like, my stepdad was pretty emotionally, verbally, mentally, and physically abusive, not just to me, but to my siblings. So it was just like, that was really a weird environment to grow up in, because I was constantly being screamed at and constantly being like how do I explain, like, locked away in my bedroom.
Isolated.
So yeah, so that put me at this weird disposition with, like, my mom and stepdad had a separate life from me. You know what I'm saying? And that still kind of carried into growing up. That's why I moved out right away when I was 17. As soon as I graduated high school, I just moved out.
What about your siblings? Are they?
So my I have a brother that comes from my mom and my stepdad, and he's with both of them. I have a half brother from my dad, but my half brother did not grow up with my dad. I'm cool with my brother now, though. He lives in Kenosha. We're about a month apart.
Okay.
And I have a stepsister who I grew up with, but I don't talk to anymore. But she she's still in contact with my mom and my stepdad.
Okay, nice.